Good afternoon and Assalamu alaikum, distinguished panel members, honorable ladies and gentlemen. I'm grateful for the invite for this important occasion. I will take the economic side of partnerships which are emerging, particularly in link to the region and with a specific connection to the UAE, Pakistan, and the emerging regional market. That's what I summarize the topic of today. So, a bit of a background. If we look at the global trends today, what's happening? So we are entering into an era from globalization to regional partnerships. That's a strategic shift which is happening across the globe, where people are looking at markets where proximity plays an important role. So I need to elaborate it a little bit more. So this concept came some 10, 12 years back when people started talking about a new economic geography. So the geography started playing an important role in the past 10 years in the economic development of countries. And China was the first one to take the leadership role there. Looking at that sentiment, and the Belt and Road Initiative came out of that, where the countries in the near proximity were to be connected in one, emerging market. So it's a very clear literature which supports that how the movement of economic development is moving towards proximity. And I wanted to make that point to start my speech. Now, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is one of the 6 within the Belt and Road Initiative, which promises to connect Pakistan with the regional market. And what do we mean by this regional market? So regional market, when we say, we already now have connectivity with Western China, and we hope to get, more connectivity in the next 10 years or so, but to an area called, Eurasia, which is the West and Central Asia. And I wouldn't be surprised, that eventually the markets of eastern side of Pakistan and western side of Pakistan also come into that. So in the near future, what we are looking at because of this economic geography which is emerging in this region, so it's not only the 200 million plus people in Pakistan. We are looking at another over 100 million people in Western China. We are looking at, similar numbers on Central Asia and beyond. So nobody can ignore 500 million people emerging market in the future if that connectivity takes place as envisaged. Now looking down to UAE and, the Gulf countries. So what happens is that second part which countries are looking at, because of economic volatility globally, the traditional markets are growing slowly, or rather, there is a stagnation of growth in the traditional Western markets. So which are the 2 regions which are growing fast? One is Africa, then other is South Asia. South Asia's growth over the past 5 years has been, above 6% at average. And a number of people live here. It's a very large market. So second point I'm trying to make is that if South Asia needs to catch up with the levels where East Asia has arrived, this is a natural partnership of Gulf economies joining hands in South Asia at an earlier level, so that South Asia can get the capital, the markets are here, the skill sets are here, the geography is here. So there's a natural strategic partnership, economic partnership which emerges between the regions. So that's the theory, and that's how the economic dimensions are being developed in the region, in the regional context. Now, Pakistan has, extremely useful and brotherly history of relationships with UAE, Saudi Arabia, other, China has already been working with Pakistan, And it is the time that you start leveraging that social and cultural ties into long-term investment ties. This is what I work on. And I'll try and give you what Pakistan is looking at. So what Pakistan offers. So in addition to our market, which is the average age of a Pakistani is 23 years at the moment. So it's a young market. We are also offering markets which will be connected in the future, starting with Western China and going to Central Asia. What else Pakistan offers is very large endowments of not only agriculture, but as Prime Minister has been talking, a huge place, as the security situation improves, for tourism, for visiting, for cultural heritage, religious tourism. So these are the areas which makes Pakistan, other than our location, extremely attractive. We have a new port emerging. People have started visiting. They are looking at it. So what we are looking from the investment perspective in Pakistan are four things. So when an investor comes, particularly a foreign investor, so in addition to the flow of capital, Pakistan is looking for transfer of technology. And over the past 20 years or so, countries like UAE has really invested heavily in the technology development, in service delivery, in industry, in trade, in logistics, in ports and shipping. So I have been talking to all the people in UAE and Saudi Arabia. So they are quite keen now to expand their experience of technology to this part. So we are looking forward to a successful experience of our neighbors. They have done well and they have acquired the best possible technology. And now the interest is even going deeper into artificial intelligence and other areas, how to map cities and others. So our partnership is not only money, we are looking for technology transfer based on the real-time, real-life experiences of UAE and the other countries who are interested in Pakistan. The third part Pakistan is looking at is enhancing productivity. So if we enhance our productivity, which has been lowest in the region, so what happens is that our exportable surpluses are quite attractive to UAE, Saudi Arabia, and other countries because most of the particularly food items are imported in these countries, and if that can be produced here in Pakistan, so that can be exported back in large volumes. The third, so these are in terms of foreign direct investment in areas. The other sector where we have now advanced level of partnership with UAE is the refining and petrochemical sector. So we are already at an advanced stage of a refinery with ADNOC near Hub, Khalifa Point, where the technical studies are almost complete. And what UAE is looking at is to have a base in the south of Pakistan, in the coastline, where you can actually refine the crude and not only cater to the Pakistani market today, but also the regional market in future can be accessible while you're there. And now Saudi Arabia has also announced a refinery. So we are looking at very clear interest in the oil and petrochemical sector, and I look forward to taking it forward. So oil and petrochemical sector, technology transfer, food and agriculture sector, particularly food processing, and hospitality management. These are the four sectors where our emerging economic partnership is very rapidly developing. And I'm very, very positive that we can take it to a new height pretty soon. I'm an economist, but I would like to be very practical in my address that we need to now, both countries, UAE and Pakistan, we need to make sure that the MOUs are translated into agreements, agreements are translated into transactions, and within 2 to 3 years' time, people should see joint projects emerging, which will lead to shared prosperity and stability. Now, I have very carefully chosen the word shared prosperity. It is a purely economic proposition which we are negotiating, which benefits the investors, which benefits this economy. There is no state subsidies or guarantees involved because we believe that the economic potential of this country is sufficient enough. If we make the rules of the game favorable to investors, it should attract investment anyways. And that's the message consistently I've been getting from my UAE counterparts, that you remove the hurdles of bureaucracy, you basically use good technology, work at the pace of private sector, and Pakistan is a very attractive destination for the investors here. Incidentally, I'll be traveling tomorrow to push that partnership further if the ambassador issues me visa today. So what we are looking at it, that how can we monitor progress? So what we have done is that we have now shared an economic framework draft with the UAE government, which is a bilateral framework where we have very strong monitoring mechanisms within these sectors where UAE has shown interest. By the way, UAE has also shown very strong interest in the area of alternate energy and also housing and real estate development. So all these sectors are lined up in that framework, and we hope to sign that framework either at the Joint Ministerial Commission or perhaps maybe earlier if possible. So once we have the framework, it will be different from a practice from usual where you agree on something and leave it the pace at which projects are developed. It will be monitored on monthly basis, and then it will be reported to the Prime Minister and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, so that we can basically take that forward. Closing basically my discussion, what I see the future. Nobody can predict the volatility or flux in geopolitics, but it is the time, if the future century is an Asian economic century where the nucleus of economic growth has already moved to, Asia. I very clearly see the opportunity for UAE and Gulf countries to partner with Pakistan and the region I've been defining, because the region has to move fast to catch up with other Asian economies. Size matters a lot, because the larger the economy, the more opportunities for shared prosperity, So what Pakistan needs to do is that we need to improve our processes. We need to invest in our human resources. We basically need to learn to resolve disputes quickly in our systems. That is where Prime Minister himself is leading with me, that we need to fast track the ease of doing business, all the processes, whether it is linked to taxes, whether it is linked to red tape, whether it is linked to dispute resolution. So what we are doing is that we are working 24/7 to improve that. It will take time. It's a large country. There are practices, but signals are very clear to the investors across the region that Pakistan is serious. Pakistan is open for business, and in the UAE conference, what Prime Minister said, that this is the time to invest in Pakistan. Don't miss the boat now. So this is a very good time to invest in Pakistan, and I look forward to welcoming the UAE investment to Pakistan, and I hope that we can show results in foreseeable future, because at the end of the day, it is the transaction which will be visible, which will inspire confidence of the people, rather than a dialogue leading towards the transaction. So that is the approach I'm taking. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. I look forward to interacting with all of you in the course of this session. Thank you very much.